You're not welcome home anymore. My dad changed locks, gave my house to my sister. I'd paid $72,000 over 18 months, so payments halted. You want to know what it feels like to have your entire world ripped out from under you, only to discover you were unknowingly paying for the very hand that betrayed you? Imagine pouring 18 months, $72,000 of your hard-earned money into what you thought was your family home, only to be tossed out with a single text message, the locks changed, and the house handed over to your golden child sister. That's exactly what happened to me, Lauren, and it took me a while to process the sheer audacity, the cold-blooded betrayal. But once I did, the game was over. Let me tell you how it all went down. I'm Lauren, I'm 30 years old, and I'm a regional manager for a distribution firm. It's boring work, pays reasonably, nothing extraordinary. For a while, I was living with my parents. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but it honestly made sense at the time. I have a fantastic boyfriend, Noah. He works at a dentist's office, and we've been together for about a year and a half. My folks aren't exactly his biggest fans, but honestly, who cares? Then there's my sister, Olivia. She's 27 and married to Tyler. They're the golden children, the ones who can do no wrong in my parents' eyes. Me, I've always been more of the dependable backup plan, the one they call when something needs fixing. So, this all happened on a Tuesday. I was at work, sitting in my office, pretending to care about inventory reports when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my dad. It read, "You are no longer welcome at home. We replaced the locks. Your stuff is in the garage." I stared at that message for what felt like an eternity, probably 3 solid minutes. I must have read it 10 times, convinced I'd missed some crucial detail, some context that would make sense of it. But nope. It said exactly the same thing, over and over. I called him immediately. He picked up on the first ring, almost as if he was expecting it. "What the hell is going on, Dad?" I demanded, my voice tight with disbelief. "Lauren," he said, his tone unnervingly calm. "It's time you figured out your own life. You're 30 years old." My brain just stopped. I couldn't comprehend it. What have I done? I asked, completely bewildered. "Your mother and I discussed this," he continued, completely ignoring my question. "Olivia needs the room more than you do." Olivia, of course, being my sister. "Can we at least discuss this in person?" I pleaded, a knot forming in my stomach. "There's nothing to talk about. We've made a choice." Then Mom got on the phone. Her voice was chillingly cold, colder than I had ever heard it. "Lauren, your sister is starting a family. She requires stability. You've got plenty of time to organize your life." "Mom, I live there," I argued, my voice cracking slightly. "Where am I supposed to go?" "That is something you will have to work out," she replied, utterly devoid of emotion. "Olivia and Tyler need this place." Tyler, her husband, a guy I'd met maybe 3 times before they got married. "This is ridiculous. You can't just kick me out with no warning." "We can, and we are," she shot back. "Your father has left your possessions in the garage. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be." And with that, she hung up. I sat there in my office, feeling like I'd been hit by a truck. My assistant manager, Connor, asked if I was okay. I just told him I needed to leave early and walked out. Noah drove us directly to the house. I mean, I had been living in that place since college. We pulled up across the street, and I just sat there for a bit, watching. Tyler's ridiculously large, lifted Ford truck with those obnoxious LED lights was in the driveway. Olivia's car was there too. Through the living room window, I could see them moving around inside, acting like they owned the place. I tried my key. It didn't work. The mailbox, which had always said the Hayes family, now read Olivia and Tyler Cooper. And my bedroom window, new curtains, everything I owned just gone. Tyler opened the main door. He looked completely casual, almost bored. "Hey, yeah, your dad mentioned you might stop by. Your stuff's in the garage. Side door's open." "What the hell is going on, Tyler?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Look, I don't want any drama," he said, shrugging. Your parents agreed to give us the house. We're grateful, but this is between you and them. Give you the house? I scoffed. They can't just give you the house I live in. They own it. They can do whatever they want, he replied, dismissive. Now, if you don't mind, I have stuff to do. He closed the door right in my face. I walked around to the garage. The side door was unlocked, just as he'd said. My belongings were there in a chaotic mess of boxes and garbage bags. Not neatly packed, just dumped. My laptop, my clothes, tools, books, all tossed in like trash. We made 3 trips, loading everything into Noah's vehicle. The whole time, I kept thinking this had to be a mistake, some bizarre misunderstanding that would eventually be resolved. But it wasn't. That night, I ended up staying at a Holiday Inn. I sat on the bed with my laptop, trying to process what had just happened. I opened my banking app, just to check my accounts, to make sure nothing else was wrong. And that's when I saw it. An automatic payment of $3,000 going out every single month for the past 18 months to the mortgage company. Oh God, the mortgage. A year and a half ago, Dad had called me terrified. They were behind on payments and on the verge of losing their home. So they asked if I could help them refinance. My credit was good. Theirs wasn't. I signed the paperwork, negotiated a better rate, and dodged a disaster for them. Dad insisted it was only temporary, that he'd work everything out and take over payments in a few months. I set up autopay to help them out and completely forgot about it. After a while, it just became background noise. $3,000 automatically deducted from my account every single month. I had paid $72,000 for a house that they had just kicked me out of. I sat there, staring at that payment history until about 3 in the morning. My phone kept buzzing. Noah was calling. Finally, I picked up. Where are you, Lauren? I've been worried sick. I told him everything. He was silent for a full minute after I finished. I told you they were using you, he finally said, his voice grim. I know, I whispered. What are you planning to do? He asked. I have no idea, I admitted. But then a thought, a flicker of an idea, started to form. Not a whole strategy, but the beginning of one. The autopay button was right there on my screen. One click, and everything would come to an end. But I didn't click it. Not yet. Something told me to wait, to see how things would unfold first. I spent the next few days in that hotel room, trying to make sense of everything. I called in sick for work on Wednesday and Thursday. I couldn't concentrate on anything. Noah stopped by Wednesday night with takeout. He was furious, not at me, but at my family. I've been telling you for months something was off with them, he said, shaking his head. I know, I replied. Every time we visited, they'd make these little comments. My mother, with her little jabs about me still living at home, and Dad constantly asking when I was going to get a real career. He was right. I'd just been ignoring it because they were family. And that's what you do, right? You ignore the bad things. What are you planning to do? He asked again. I need to talk to Ryan. Ryan went to college with me. We were roommates in junior and senior year. Now he's a real estate lawyer, and he does quite well for himself. I called him Thursday morning. Dude, I need your help with something legal. Like, seriously legal. What's going on? He asked, sensing the urgency in my voice. I explained the entire issue, the text, the changed locks, Olivia and Tyler moving in. Then I told him about the mortgage. Wait, he said, a long pause on his end. Is the mortgage in your name? Yeah, I replied. I refinanced it for them a year and a half ago. There was another long, heavy silence. Lauren, he finally said, his voice slow and deliberate, do you know what that means? That I was paying their bills. No, he corrected, his voice firm. It means you legally own the house. If your name is on the mortgage and the deed, you own the property. My brain short-circuited again. But they've been there for like 30 years. Doesn't matter who's been living there. It matters who's on the deed, Ryan explained patiently. I don't know who's on the deed. I'd need to check the papers. Find it. Bring everything to my office tomorrow. Every document, every bank statement, everything. I met him Friday afternoon. His office was downtown, a really nice setup. Made me think I should have studied more in school. I spread all the documents out on his conference table. Ryan examined them piece by piece, meticulously, for about an hour. "Okay, so here's the situation," he finally said, pushing his glasses up his nose. "You are the principal borrower on the mortgage. Your parents are listed as co-borrowers, but you are the one who is legally responsible for the loan. And according to these bank documents, you've made every single payment for the past 18 months, averaging $3,000 each month. That amounts to $72,000 in total." "Yeah," I mumbled. "They cannot just hand this house to your sister," he stated, his voice firm. "They do not have the legal authority to transfer property with an active mortgage that is in someone else's name. So what does this mean?" I asked, my heart pounding. "It means they screwed up. Big time." He kept sifting through the paperwork, then pulled something up on his laptop. "Holy, Lauren, what?" "What?" "Your parents placed their property for sale 2 weeks ago," he revealed, turning the screen toward me. There it was, my childhood home, listed for sale at $250,000. Every room photographed, including my old bedroom, which had clearly been converted into a nursery. "How did you find that?" I asked, shocked. "This is public record," he explained. "MLS listings are all available online." That night, back at the hotel, I scrolled through Olivia's Instagram. She had been uploading remodeling pictures for months, new kitchen cabinets, fresh paint in the living room, new flooring in the bathroom, all of which I had been unwittingly paying for. Then I found Tyler's Facebook page. 2 months ago, he'd written, "Finally realized my dream of home ownership. No more renting. Hard work pays rewards. Hashtag blessed homeowner." Hard work. This guy actually believed he had worked hard for the house I was financing. People were congratulating them. Olivia's friends, their relatives, people I'd never even met, for their accomplishment. Noah came over on Saturday. I showed him everything. "Are you kidding me now? They're selling it without telling you when you're actually paying the mortgage," he fumed. He was angrier than I was at that point. I just felt numb. "What did Ryan tell you to do?" he asked. He urged me to document everything. Every payment, every correspondence, every social media post. Build a case. So that's what we did. I spent the entire weekend gathering records. Bank statements going back 18 months, screenshots of Olivia and Tyler's posts, text conversations from my parents. Everything. My Aunt Diane had also mentioned that Olivia's wedding last year at that fancy venue was paid for by my parents, and they told everyone. But I remembered giving them $6,000 for the venue because Dad said they were short that month. I saw another post from Olivia's wedding day. "So grateful to my amazing parents for making this day possible." No mention of me. Ryan called on Sunday night. I did some digging. Vanessa Cho is the name of the realtor your parents are using. Works for Prestige Realty. Okay. I contacted her office, he explained. Said I was a potential buyer, asked about the property. She told me it was virtually paid off. Just some minor paperwork to do. "But that's not true," I said, a cold dread washing over me. "Exactly," Ryan confirmed. "Your parents lied to the realtor about their mortgage situation. That is fraud, Lauren. If they try to sell this property without disclosing the existing loan, they are breaking the law." I sat there that night, looking at my bank app. That autopay waiting there. $3,000, set to go out in 2 days. The house listing was still current. They were actively showing it to customers, planning to take the money while I continued to pay. Ryan texted, "Don't cancel your payment yet. Let's watch what they do first." But I was done waiting. Monday morning, I logged in and canceled the autopay. Then I waited for them to notice. The first thing I did after canceling the payment was look for an apartment. I wasn't planning to stay in that motel forever. I found a good 1-bedroom across town. Nothing special, but it was mine. We signed the lease on Tuesday and moved in Wednesday. Noah helped me unpack the boxes from the garage. Most of my belongings were okay. Some things were broken, but honestly, whatever. How does it feel? He asked as we took a break. Weird. Good. Weird, I admitted, a small smile playing on my lips. You seem different, he observed. Monday morning, I logged in and canceled the autopay. Then, I waited for them to notice. The first thing I did after canceling the payment was look for an apartment. I wasn't planning to stay in that motel forever. I found a good one-bedroom across town. Nothing special, but it was mine. We signed the lease on Tuesday and moved in Wednesday. Noah helped me unpack the boxes from the garage. Most of my belongings were okay. Some things were broken, but honestly, whatever. How does it feel? He asked as we took a break. Weird. Good. Weird, I admitted, a small smile playing on my lips. You seem different, he observed. Monday morning, I logged in and canceled the autopay. Then, I waited for them to notice. The first thing I did after canceling the payment was look for an apartment. I wasn't planning to stay in that motel forever. I found a good one-bedroom across town. Nothing special, but it was mine. We signed the lease on Tuesday and moved in Wednesday. Noah helped me unpack the boxes from the garage. Most of my belongings were okay. Some things were broken, but honestly, whatever. How does it feel? He asked as we took a break. Weird. Good. Weird, I admitted, a small smile playing on my lips. You seem different, he observed. The bank is phoning and stating something about missing payments, which I don't understand. Mom and Dad said the house was paid off. That's odd, I said, feigning innocence. A long pause. Then, her voice dropped, filled with dawning horror. Wait, is the mortgage under your name? Paperwork's funny like that, I said, a smirk on my face. Are you serious? You've been paying it this entire time. Wasn't any more, I replied calmly. What does that mean? It means I ceased making payments on a residence I no longer live in, I explained. Remember? You guys changed the locks. Oh my God, she whispered, and then she hung up. 8 minutes later, Dad called. I let it ring. Voicemail. I'm not sure what game you're playing, but this has to stop. Please call me back, quickly. His voice was strained, angry. Then Mom called. Voicemail. Please, honey. We really need to discuss. There's something wrong with the mortgage company. They claim we're late on payments. I texted Dad back. Not playing games. You said I'd make my own plans, so figure it out. Noah came over on Saturday morning with some coffee. How many times did they call yesterday? Stopped counting at 20, I said with a shrug. We were watching a movie, and my phone just kept flashing up. Honestly, every buzz felt better than the previous one. Olivia sent a long text message on Sunday night. Lauren, please talk to us. I'm not sure what's going on, but we can sort it out. Mom and Dad are quite anxious, and the realtor keeps phoning about issues with the sale. Please call them back. I read it twice. Then I shut off my phone. Noah looked at me. Are you okay? Never better. My phone was still turned off, resting on the table, silent for the first time in days. Ryan texted my work phone. They're probably in full panic mode right now. Are you ready for the next step? I texted back. Yeah, let's do this. Mom texted Saturday morning. We should chat. Just coffee, please. I showed it to Ryan. He responded, go, and let them talk. Observe what they try to pull. Noah offered to come. Nah, I got this, I said, but stay on speed dial just in case. I met them at a diner, halfway between my new apartment and their now complicated mansion. I got there first, ordered coffee, and waited. They showed up 8 minutes late. Dad looked haggard, with heavy bags under his eyes. Mom's makeup couldn't hide that she'd been sobbing. And then Olivia walked in behind them. I hadn't anticipated that. It was an ambush. Tyler wasn't there, at least for small favors. They sat across from me. Olivia was clearly pregnant now, probably 5 or 6 months along. She had that pregnant glow everyone talks about, which only made the entire situation feel even more manipulative. Nobody spoke for a minute. Dad cleared his throat. There's been some confusion about the house finances. I just took a slow sip of my coffee, letting him speak. We didn't realize you had been making mortgage payments for 18 months, he continued, eyes darting nervously. $3,000 each month. You didn't see $72,000. Mom jumped in, tears welling up. We thought your father was handling it. I thought Dad owned the house. Turns out we were both mistaken. Olivia's eyes were bloodshot. We assumed it had been paid off. Mom and Dad told us it was a present for us, she exclaimed, her voice rising. You cannot give something you do not possess, I stated, my voice calm but firm. That is basically theft. We put our savings into that house. Olivia added, her voice cracking. New kitchen, new floors, everything. Show me the deed bearing your name on it, I challenged. Or show me where Mom and Dad legally transferred money to you, because the bank seems to be confused about it. She was becoming so loud that other diners were staring. I didn't care. We are having a baby. We need this house, she cried. I remained impassive. Congratulations on the baby. I hope you budgeted for rent. Dad clenched his jaw, his face pale. Are you really going to tear this family apart over money? No, Dad, I replied, my voice chillingly steady. You ripped it apart when you texted me not to return and change the locks. We were angry. We didn't mean. He started. You meant it enough to take my name off the mailbox. You meant it enough to give Olivia my room. You meant it enough to try and sell the house I was paying for. Mom couldn't say anything. She just sat there defeated. We raised you better than this, she finally managed to choke out. You raised me to pay my own way, I retorted. That is exactly what I am doing. Olivia was openly weeping now. What do you want from us? Nothing, I said, a weariness settling over me. I don't want anything from you anymore. Tyler's name flashed on Olivia's phone, which sat on the table between us. He was calling immediately. I could hear his voice, tinny and distorted, through the speaker. Babe, what's up? Did she agree to help? Olivia was sobbing too hard to respond. Mom, tried one last guilt trip. Please don't do this. We are your family. Family doesn't change locks, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. Family doesn't erase people. You wanted me gone. Congratulations. You got what you wanted, and I received my $3,000 back every month. Olivia wiped her eyes, her face streaked with mascara. I will never forgive you for this. Yeah, I replied, standing up. Well, same. I took out my wallet and placed two $20 bills on the table for my coffee. For what it's worth, I said, my voice softer. I genuinely cared about you people. In the past tense. Mom grabbed for my arm. Please, you mentioned Olivia's need for this residence. She needs stability. Well, I needed a family, I said, pulling my arm away. And you picked the house over me. So now nobody gets either. Olivia stood up, trembling with rage. You're choosing money over family. No, I countered, looking her straight in the eye. You picked the free house above your sister. I'm just deciding to cease paying for it. Well, I needed a family, I said, pulling my arm away. And you picked the house over me. So now nobody gets either. Olivia stood up, trembling with rage. You're choosing money over family. No, I countered, looking her straight in the eye. You picked the free house above your sister. I'm just deciding to cease paying for it. I walked out. My hands were shaking, but I just kept walking. I got to my car, sat for a second, and looked back through the diner window. Olivia was having a total meltdown. Dad held his head in his hands. Mom was on the phone, probably calling other family members to complain about me. I texted Noah. It's done. They know everything now. He responded promptly. How are you feeling? Pretty good. I started the car. I drove back to my apartment with my name on the lease, my furniture, and my rules. 20 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. Aunt Diane, Uncle Jim, relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, all inquiring about the situation. I sent them all the same thing. screenshots of my bank statements, Dad's text telling me not to come back, and a copy of the house listing. I let the facts speak for themselves. The majority of them stopped asking questions after that. That night, Noah brought over Chinese food. Your sister posted on Facebook, he informed me. What did she say? It's about familial betrayal and fraudulent individuals. Very ambiguous. Her friends have all commented, asking what occurred. Did she say my name? No, he said, but it's pretty obvious. Let her publish what she wants. I have receipts. We ate on my actual couch, which I'd bought last week. Do you believe they will keep trying? He asked. Probably, I sighed, but I'm done responding. The phone buzzed. Dad was calling. I let it ring out. It feels good, doesn't it? Noah said, watching me. What? Not being their backup plan anymore. Yes, it really did. Within a week after that coffee meetup, Olivia went utterly nuts on Facebook. It started with vague posts. You truly discover out who people are when things become bad. Then, blood doesn't mean anything to certain people. Her friends all commented, You all right, girl? What happened? DM me if you need to talk. She never explained, instead writing cryptic rubbish every day. Extended family began phoning me, trying to get details. I emailed them the bank statements and Dad's text. They gradually discovered the true story. I didn't bother with those who just believed Olivia. Olivia even showed up to my apartment on a Thursday, screaming in the hall. Noah had to call me at work. Building security had to remove her. When I got home, Noah was writing up an incident report. Your sister's completely unhinged. Yeah, I replied, I'm starting to see that. Dad called and expressed an interest in purchasing the house. I quoted him the entire outstanding value. He said they couldn't afford it and wanted some equity. I actually laughed. Mom came on, weeping about Dad's blood pressure. I told her he wouldn't have to worry about home payments anytime soon. And then I hung up. Olivia posted a lengthy diatribe on Facebook, calling me out specifically. It sounded as if I had messed them over at random. Family members who knew the truth called her out in the comments. She removed it after 2 hours and obscured half of the family from her profile. Months passed. The foreclosure paperwork continued going along. Ryan handled the majority of it and kept me updated on deadlines and court dates. Tyler and Olivia even hired a bogus lawyer, and on Friday, I received a cease and desist letter. Template websites are crap, Ryan chuckled, and he returned a legitimate legal letter citing mortgage fraud and possibly criminal penalties. That silenced them for 2 weeks. Mom began emailing old images of Olivia and me as children, as well as family vacation photos. Noah pointed out that none of them were recent. All from 10 years ago, he observed. They've been erasing you for a while. You just didn't see it. I blocked their numbers that night. Ryan called Saturday. Auction set for 2 weeks from today. Friday, 10 a.m. Should I go? I asked. This is your property, he said. It would be fascinating to watch. Yeah, I decided. I think I will. Do you want me there? He offered. Nah, but thanks. Noah persisted on coming, though. I am not missing this, he declared. I want to see their faces when it's over. I couldn't argue with that. I awoke on the day of the auction with strange feelings. Not nervous, precisely, but knowing that today would alter everything. Noah greeted me at my residence. Are you ready for this? As ready as I'm going to be. The county courthouse stairs opened at 10 a.m. We arrived 15 minutes early. The place was more busy than I imagined, with perhaps 15 individuals standing about with files and clipboards. Most of them were real estate investors. You could tell by how they dressed and talked about property prices and remodeling expenditures. Vanessa Cho, the realtor, appeared utterly exhausted. She came over and apologized for the incident, said that if she had known the truth, she would not have accepted the listing. I just nodded. At 9:55 a.m., my relatives showed up. Tyler's ridiculous raised Ford truck with the LED lights, drove up and all four of them stepped out. They all looked awful. Olivia was clearly pregnant, and she must have been at least 8 months along. Mom's hair was a disaster. Dad looked like he had aged 10 years. They saw me and Noah standing near the courthouse steps. Olivia began heading toward us, but Mom grabbed her arm and stopped her. Tyler was glaring at me from across the parking lot, attempting to be tough, threatening, or something. It didn't work. I gave them a tiny wave. Noah snorted. "You're terrible." "I know," I admitted, a small, grim smile on my face. The auctioneer appeared at 10 a.m. sharp. An elderly man with a clipboard and a microphone. "All right, everyone. We have numerous properties today. First up is 847 Maple Street." He reeled off the information. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,800 square feet. Needs some maintenance, but has strong bones. We'll start bidding at $200,000. One of the investors pulled out at $240,000. Going once, going twice. The last investor lifted his paddle once again, but nobody else bid. Sold for $240,000 to bidder number 39. The gavel came down. That was it. After 15 minutes, it was over. Years of family conflict were stopped by a man with a paddle and a bored voice. Olivia practically slumped onto one of the benches, not quite fainting, but her legs just gave out. Tyler yelled at the auctioneer about something. I'm not sure what, but it seemed like the guy was going to reverse the sale since Tyler was furious. Mom and Dad just stood there, looking utterly dejected. Dad noticed me and started walking over. Noah stiffened up beside me. "Do you want me to?" he began. "Nah," I murmured. "Let him come." He paused about 4 feet away, his eyes hollow. "Are you happy now?" "Happy isn't the word," I replied, "but I'm not unhappy. Your sister's about to have a baby, 8 months pregnant, and now she's got nowhere to go," he accused. "She has been pregnant for a while," I said calmly. "We had plenty of time to work out housing." "Is this who you have become?" he asked, his voice dripping with disappointment. "Is it this cold?" "You sent me a text saying, 'Don't come back,' and change the locks." I reminded him, my voice as cold as his. "You taught me how to be cold, Dad." Mom came up behind him, tears streaming down her face. "We're going to lose everything because of you." "No," I countered. "You've already lost it. This basically just made things official." Olivia lurched over, makeup dripping over her cheeks. "I detest you," she shrieked. "Do you hear me? I hate you." I didn't say anything. "We are homeless because of you." "Homeless?" I scoffed. "You were homeless because you moved into a house that no one in your family owned or paid for. That's referred to as lousy planning." Tyler walked forward and got right in my face. "Watch how you talk to her," he snarled. Noah rushed quickly between us. "Or what, Tyler?" he challenged. "Are you going to abuse her right now in front of all these witnesses and the courthouse cameras?" He motioned to the security camera over the entryway. Tyler backed off, his face red with impotent rage. Olivia's voice became quiet, scary quiet. "You know I'm having a girl, right? Your niece, and your family." I gazed at her for a second. "I hope you educate her better than you learned. Don't steal anything that isn't yours." Even Mom appeared stunned. Dad's mouth practically dropped open. "Come on," I murmured to Noah. "We're done here." I began walking to the car. Olivia screamed behind us. "You are dead to me. Dead. Do you hear me?" I didn't turn around, just continued going. When I got to the car, my hand shook as I tried to put the key in the ignition. "That was intense," Noah explained, his voice low. "Yes," I agreed, taking a deep breath. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Ask me in 5 years." We sat for a minute. My phone vibrated. It was Ryan. "After paying off the mortgage and all the costs, you're looking at a profit of around $42,000. Should be in your account in 2 weeks." I stared at the message. "It's not even about the money anymore," I told Noah. "I know," he said, taking my hand. "It's about being free." That weekend we went house hunting. I looked at maybe 8 places. I found this lovely 3-bedroom home with a fenced lawn. Some little repairs were required, but nothing out of the ordinary. "This one's good," Noah replied, standing in the empty living room. "Yeah," I said, looking around. "For me, guest room." And he trailed off. "And maybe a kid's room, eventually if you want someday." He appeared uneasy while saying it. "Yes," I said, a genuine smile forming. "I want that. But first, let's be married. Do it correctly this time." "Is this a proposal?" he teased. "That is a preview of a proposal," I corrected. "The real one will be better." We submitted an offer that afternoon. Every document bore both of our names, indicating equal ownership, the way it should have been from the beginning. The offer was accepted Monday morning. I sat at my apartment that night, reviewing the documents. My residence, actually mine, with someone who really cared about me. 5 months passed. 5 months spent really enjoying my life rather than solving everyone else's issues. Noah and I closed on the house, relocated in late summer, and spent weekends painting rooms and renovating the backyard. His cat took the bedroom window as his personal territory. Everything felt good for once. Work elevated me to senior regional manager. Better salary, better hours. I actually had time to accomplish what I wanted to do. My family hadn't contacted me. Blocked numbers remained blocked. Social media remained silent. Life was good. On a Saturday morning, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost left it to voicemail. Something made me respond. "Lauren, it's Olivia." Her voice sounded different, exhausted and dejected. "What do you want?" I asked, my voice flat. "Please don't hang up. I need to speak to you in person. Please." Every instinct screamed no, but a part of me was morbidly interested. "Where?" "The restaurant on 5th Street, the one by the old mall." "When?" "Today, if possible. I know it's last minute, but please come alone." "Okay," I agreed. "Thank you." She hung up. Noah was making coffee in the kitchen. "That was Olivia," I told him. "What did she want?" "I don't know. Meeting her at wereYou're. "Do you want me to come?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "Nah, but thanks." We arrived at the restaurant at 12:55. Olivia was already present in a rear booth. She had the baby with her, a small girl asleep in a car seat carrier. Olivia seemed utterly weary, not just new mom exhausted, but defeated, tired to her bones. I sat across from her without saying anything. "Thanks for coming," she mumbled. I nodded. "This is Grace." She gestured to the infant. I gazed at the baby. She was cute, I guess. Maybe 4 months old and getting plump. Babies all look similar to me. Okay. The stillness was long, uncomfortable. Olivia stared at her coffee. "We are in a 2-bedroom apartment on the east side, a bad region. Tyler is working 2 jobs. I am on unpaid maternity leave. We are drowning." She paused, then whispered. "Mom and Dad relocated to Florida. They just left. They said they needed a fresh start away from all the commotion." I didn't say anything. "They simply abandoned us," she continued, her voice raw. "Didn't even say goodbye to Grace. Just packed up and left." "Sounds familiar," I said, a slight edge in my voice. She flinched at this. "I thought maybe if you met her, your niece, you might maybe what?" "Give us the money." I finished for her. She started to cry. Real tears this time. I wasn't aware of the mortgage payments. I promise I didn't know. Mom and Dad told me the house was paid for, that it was their gift to us. "You never asked for proof." I asked, raising an eyebrow. "Never seen any paperwork." "They are my parents. Why should I doubt them?" "Yes," I agreed, a bitter taste in my mouth. "Mine too. Look how that turned out." I realize I messed up. "Okay, I understand." She took a shaky breath. Tyler pushed hard for that house. He wanted to appear successful. I could have asked more questions, but I trusted them. "How about the locks?" I asked. "Did you know about it?" "Not till thereafter," she admitted, wiping her eyes. Dad said you'd been odd and aggressive, so you went on your own. And you believed him? I scoffed. You hadn't been around much. It made sense at the time. I wasn't around, I said, my voice growing colder, because every time I visited, Tyler made comments about me mooching off them while I was literally paying your mortgage. She didn't have a response for it. The infant began fussing, then crying. Olivia took her up and began rocking her. I need help, Lauren, she begged, her voice desperate. The first and last month's rent for a better apartment is $2,500. I will pay you back. I promise. No, I stated flatly. Please, I beg you. Do you know what's funny? I asked, looking her directly in the eye. I would have helped you before all of this, before the locks, the lies, and everything. Then why? She choked out. Because you laughed when Tyler labeled me a loser over Thanksgiving. When Mom thought I was being selfish by not giving them more money, you nodded. You never phoned after Dad sent that text. Not once. She didn't know what to say. What about, that's messed up? I continued. What about, you're my sister? Literally anything. The infant was sobbing more now. Olivia's hands were trembling as she tried to prepare a bottle. I made a mistake. People make errors, I acknowledged. You did not make a mistake. You removed me from the family while I paid for yours. That is not an error. That is a choice. Are you simply going to let me struggle? I'm going to do exactly what you did, I said, pushing my chair back. Live my life without you in it. She was really coming apart by now. Both the baby and Olivia were weeping. The entire issue was a chaos. You're punishing a baby for my mistakes, she cried. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not saving you. There is a difference. I shook my head slowly. Tyler said you were too selfish to help. Guess his opinions are working out great for you so far. I stood up, took out my wallet, and placed two $20 bills on the table for her meal. That's more than you gave me, Lauren. Please, I said, looking down at her. I hope things work out for you. Really. But it won't be because of me. I walked out. She didn't follow this time. I got to my vehicle. My phone buzzed. Noah, how did it go? Exactly like you'd expect. Coming home? Yeah, 15 minutes. I'll order from the Thai restaurant you prefer. Home. My house. With someone who genuinely cared about me. I drove past my neighborhood, nice streets, good schools, safe. I pulled into my driveway. My name and Noah's were on the mailbox. Noah sat on the couch, surrounded by wedding magazines. Are you okay? He asked, looking up. Yeah, actually, yes. She tried everything, even guilt, he observed. Everything. The baby, the money, the family card. And you said no, he finished, a proud smile on his face. I thought I'd feel horrible, guilty or something, I admitted, leaning into his embrace. But you don't. No, I said, a wave of profound relief washing over me. I feel free. We planned the wedding over the following several months. It was a little thing, just close friends. Nobody from my family was invited. We never heard from them again. I eventually changed my phone number, just to be cautious. Aunt Diane would occasionally text Noah with updates. Parents were suffering in Florida. Olivia and Tyler were constantly arguing. I never asked for specifics. 10 months after the auction, Noah and I were on our back patio. It was early evening in summer. Everything felt amazing. I had a little bulge and was 2 months along. We had discovered it a few weeks ago. Do you ever think about them? He asked quietly. Sometimes, I admitted, gazing out at our yard. Do you miss them? I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I finally said. I miss the notion of what I believed they were, rather than what they actually were. Do you think they'll contact you once they learn about the baby? Probably when they need something. Are you going to answer? What do you think? I asked with a knowing smile. He grinned. I think you're done being their backup plan. The phone buzzed. Unknown number. I looked at it, let it ring out. I set it face down on the table. Do you know what's crazy? I said, leaning my head on Noah's shoulder. What? I've spent years trying to make them proud. It turned out that my viewpoint was the only one that counted. That's deep, he murmured. Nah, I replied, a soft smile on my face. Just true. We sat there quietly, watching the sun set on a life that was finally, truly mine. Her house, her soon-to-be husband, her child on the way, her tranquility constructed from the ashes of the family that had abandoned her. She had never felt happier.